Hey Bandidos, Tux here. Are you tired of seeing the same old Strikers build over and over again? Yeah, me too. I get it. Strikers is great, but it's not the only great gear set in the game. And today, I'm gonna show you another build that you can run right now, really easy to farm and very powerful. We're mowing through all the content with massive amounts of damage and bonus armor. The DPS is absolutely a beast. And if you just got your Ouroboros, you now have an amazing build you can run that's not a Strikers. That'll just demolish everything in your way. But if you don't have the Ouroboros, don't fret, I got your back with some alternative setups. Shield or shieldless, here we go. So this Heartbreaker is amazing. We tested this in live stream. So if you want to watch that and see the iterations we went through to get here, I suggest you check it out. It's actually a ton of fun. Now, if you don't have your Ouroboros yet, then no worries. I got your back and give you some other recommendations. But if you do have your Ouroboros and you're tired of just running it with the same old striker build, you got to check this one out. Okay, it's going to be a blast. It's really fun and it's definitely effective. I'm obliterating everything. And what I want to point out first is that notice there is no armor on kill on this build, none. And so we are surviving purely from the bonus armor regen, and time to kill. I don't even have a fixer on this thing. I'm gonna quickly go over the Ouroboros because we've had reviews over this. You can also check out this video if you want to see my deep dive on the Ouroboros, where I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, so it's got a crit damage mod, we got crit chance mod, we got rate of fire, and then we have a larger reload speed. I got mine at 88.9, 1485, and a 50 mag. And I just loaded some expertise on it, but don't sweat it. You don't need the expertise. And you can see that from all of our testing and iterations. I had 0 expertise on this and we were accomplishing the same. So I got SMG damage, crit chance, damage to targets out of cover. We have a 1.3 second reload. Hello, that's beautiful. And of course, this has the talent called Rule Them All. That sometimes helps. It's sort of rare that it helps you, but it's there sometimes. Basically, when you get status affected, then your next magazine will have half of that status effect rolled into its bullets. So that's the gun. For the backup, I'm using the lefty, but really you're probably better off with the rock and roll, which is the other named ACS. Anyways, I just have regular crit mods here, reload speed, and okay, so Heartbreaker gives you assault rifle damage. We're obviously not using that, or LMG damage. That's additive damage, so we're really not missing out on much. We got weapon handling. We like that. That's better reloads, and we are going for a lot of headshots here. We'll talk about that. Heart Stopper, that's what we're after. So weapon hits on pulsed enemies at a stack of 1% bonus armor and 1% weapon damage, and that stacks 50 times, and then it degrades. 2 stacks are lost every second. So it also gives you a pulse. So headshots apply pulse for 5 seconds. So if you look closely and you give offense a red attribute, defense a blue attribute, and skill related things a yellow attribute, Heartbreaker is a memento configuration of a gear set: red, yellow, blue. So the red is coming from the 2-piece and 3-piece setup, and also Heart Stopper with that weapon damage. The blue is coming from the bonus armor, and the yellow, or the skill, is coming from the pulse, from the headshot. What I'm trying to tell you is that although it's the color green because it's a gear set, it's really a hybrid set, which is why you can't directly compare it to Striker from a DPS perspective, because Striker is not a hybrid. Striker is a pure damage setup. So anyways, so that's its differentiation and why it even exists, because what the devs aren't going to give us a bunch of pure DPS gear sets where one just ends up being the better and then all the others are dismissed. They must have an identity, and that's this one's identity. It's a tank DPS setup that gives you a skill pulse for free. It's built in. So I have weapon damage and crits, and then that's basically our setup here, and then we balance in some armor, but weapon damage and crit damage on the gloves, the knees, weapon damage and crit damage, and finally the holster has armor and crit damage. This gear set naturally comes with armor, so all you're looking for are crits, and that shouldn't be too hard to farm. If you don't have a 4-piece Heartbreaker, it's really easy to get. If you see it in the open world, go for it in that zone. Otherwise, go to Countdown. You could probably get all these pieces in just a few runs. These aren't unique pieces, and don't worry if yours aren't god rolled, you're still gonna smash content. Okay, the chest piece is Hunter Killer, and that gives us status effects. We don't care about that. And we have armor, we have crits, and then it has perfect intimidate. So while you have bonus armor, gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 8. Each stack increases weapon damage by 5 to enemies within 10 meters, which we're playing in because we're using an SMG. All stacks are lost when you no longer have bonus armor. Now there's some magic going on here. Okay, more than meets the the eye, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we do, I want you to let you know that the Hunter Killer chest, how do you get it? Well, you get this by defeating all the New York hunters, the Warlords of New York DLC hunters. And when you beat them, you get keys, and then you can open up a chest at the base of operations in New York, and that's how you get this. And then from there, Cassie Mendoza sells a version of the Hunter Killer chest every single week, so you can try to get a better one. If you haven't done that yet, I suggest you do, because it's a ton of fun. But it's a journey, and so it might take you a while. But don't you fret, because you have backup options. First of all, we did run Perfect Companion, and it actually played out really nicely. The other option is the Heartbreaker chest piece, which is going to double your stacks. So it's actually going to double your bonus armor and give you another 50% weapon damage, which is pretty darn good. But it's more stacking, and we're playing pretty fast. And so I did like Intimidate better. I think the best alternate would be to just run like a Cheska, a Grupo, or a Sokolov with regular Intimidate. I think that would be the better option. And this match up your armor accordingly. So as you can see, I have 1.3 million in total armor, which is 3 blue cores, one of which is coming off the backpack. And then we have 4 red cores, one of which is on the backpack also. And that's important to know because there's some details there. And then we're gonna circle back on some of the secret sauce that's in this build.
Hey Bandidos, the community we have built together wouldn't have been possible without you. So as a thank you for supporting my channel, I am bringing you the hookup on member perks, including even more Division 2 content and the celebrated gaming music playlists. If you're not part of Texas Players Club, now is your chance.
So I'm running the Memento, of course, because we're running and gunning, so this is gonna be the best bet for you. But you can also run the Heartbreaker backpack, but it's not gonna give you additional damage. However, it will give you 200% bonus armor when you combine it with your chest. If not, you can have 100% bonus armor, which is also pretty nice. But the Memento is cool because you're gonna get the 3 skill tiers, and that makes a very strong shield. We'll go into the shield in a second, but that's a tier 4 shield. Pretty darn cool. Okay, I got protection from elites there. Just one was fine. You don't have to run that, but that helps the bonus armor stay up just a little bit longer, and all we're doing is fighting elites out here in heroic. So, but if you're fighting challenging or something like that, go ahead and run probably more crits there. So we got the short-term buff, so we can get 5% weapon damage per red core, and then we're gonna get 30% weapon damage. It's additive when you have full stacks. So 30% weapon damage, that's gonna be there for the long term, and then you got 4 red cores times 5, so that's 20% additional additive weapon damage per kill, and we're stacking those. So that's actually pretty amazing. So at a base of 30 plus 20, you're at 50, 70, 90, so on and so forth. I mean, we're crushing content. Now you have the bonus armor, 10% bonus armor on kill per blue core. We have 3 of those, so that's 30% bonus armor with a single kill, and that also stacks 30, 60, 90. So you get crazy bonus armor. You're also getting bonus armor just on hits from here, which is gonna give you 50 stacks of bonus armor. So you end up having crazy bonus armor, and so you got 2 sources of bonus armor. That's part of the secret sauce in the setup and why I chose the Memento ultimately over the Heartbreaker backpack. One for the damage, but also for the 2 sources of bonus armor, which is making our uptime on the Intimidate. So we're gonna talk about this, but your offense is your defense and your defense is your offense. We have a perfect synergy on this build, which is why it's actually very amazing, and I hope you give it a try. Okay, so we're gonna have the 3% armor regen. That's the only heals that I actually have on the build, and that little 3% armor regen is enough to get through every bit of the content that we're taking on. And then I have the skill efficiency, which is also gonna help our skills with the duration, and I'm running the decoys, and it's gonna help the shield and whatnot. So yeah, constantly getting bonus armor and more weapon damage every time you get a kill, and then you're getting more weapon damage and bonus armor even when you're not getting a kill. Real quick, let's get the shield out of the way. So I'm running Firewall for my specialization, and I'm only doing that so that I can get the Striker's Shield, which is actually more damage. It's defense, it's actually giving us more offense, and that's why I'm really running it. But there's another reason too. But first, let's look at the mods so we get more damage bonus, and then I got shield health, but you can also put active regen if you want it to heal a little bit faster, whatever. 3 million health, it's a tier 4, and we're getting 13% bonus damage per enemy standing in front of us. So that scales as well. So we've got lots of scaling damage going on from the gear set that's stacking, the backpack that's stacking, and even the shield that's stacking. And if for the other skill, I'm just running the decoy. You can also run a fixer, but you know, with the amount of riot foam out there or fire fire or whatever, the decoy just helps you not get so much status effects, which is one of your biggest weaknesses. So if you get riot foamed or your shield breaks and you get dizzy, I mean, you're in trouble. Those are the things you want to look out for. Also, damage from range. You obviously don't want to take a lot of that because you can't dish it back. And so you can get pinned down from turrets posted in high points or whatever. Okay, stats wise, real quick, 57% crit chance. So I just maxed that out, 114% crit hit damage. So we're good. And then we only got 1 protection from elites mod. So one of the reasons why I really love this build, again, is because of the double sources of bonus armor. And so that's going to give us maximum uptime on Intimidate, which is a really good source of damage. Just by shooting a target, you're going to get damage and you're going to get bonus armor. Just by shooting. The bonus armor is going to turn around and give you damage. So that's defense that's making a good offense, because the bonus armor from Heartbreaker is also coming with damage stacks up to 50, and then at the same time activates Perfect Intimidate. And then when you get the kill using that damage in that bonus armor, you're gonna get more damage and more bonus armor, which is thereby gonna reinforce Perfect Intimidate's uptime, because now you have a second source of bonus armor that's on a different timer. It's on a 10-second timer, where this one is 2 stacks are lost each second. Both are always being maintained. So then on the next target you're shooting, maintaining your Heartbreaker stacks, you get a kill and then you refresh another 10-second timer, as well as stacking the bonus armor. So it's almost like a third source of bonus armor because it's stacking now. Anyways, nothing new there, but I think a lot of people overlook that synergy and why it's a really good idea to sometimes run a second piece of bonus armor with this gear set. And I gotta say, I very rarely choose something over the Heartbreaker chest piece because I really like the Heartbreaker chest piece. But this works so well, it made the Heartbreaker chest piece not so appealing for the weapon types. And then the shield, as I said, is a defense thing, but it's also providing offense, not just directly from the damage bonus, but one of the main reasons why I decided to run a shield, because I will be showing you a shieldless option, is because the shield is going to protect the bonus armor. And because the shield is protecting the bonus armor, you're going to have a better uptime with Intimidate, because as long as your bonus armor is up, you have more damage. So defense is creating more offense, both directly from the shield's damage buff from enemies standing in front of you, and indirectly by protecting Intimidate, by protecting the bonus armor. Really cool, right? And be sure to stick around for the alternate builds, because I have a few shieldless options for you. Okay, as promised, I said that I would recommend some alternates in case you don't have your Ouroboros yet. So the Lady Death is a really good option here too. Not just because it's an SMG, but the reason why is because the Breathe Free is giving you some really strong amp damage, which is always good, but it's also increasing your movement speed. And that's a way to get more out of your Intimidate or Heartbreaker or Memento stacks, because all of those things are on a timer. So Intimidate can be forever as long as you have bonus armor, but it is on a timer, and that timer is relative to the bonus armor, in which this case, those stacks are degrading 2 each second, and this bonus armor is only lasting 10 seconds. So the faster you get from A to B, the more you get out of that bonus armor, and therefore the more you get out of your Intimidate chest piece. So the Lady Death is a really good SMG option. Also allows you to avoid a lot of damage because you're so darn fast. Also, if you haven't tried the converted SMG 9, you should. This is an amazing SMG, and I have a ton of fun with it, and I've created builds around it. This is a special one, but I'd put damage to targets at a cover on it, and then you can do whatever you want with the talent. You can go killer, and then I don't have it here, unfortunately, because it's on my other character, but just the tactical vector or any of the vectors are good alternates to the Ouroboros, and that's what the Ouroboros is built on. It's built on the tactical vector. The tactical vector is fast, not as fast, but pretty darn fast, and it's got a smaller mag, like 35 rounds in the mag. However, you have flexibility in your mods, but more importantly, you have flexibility in your talent. So you can run something like killer or measured or whatever you feel like doing, and the reload speed's a little bit higher. I think it's like around 1.6 seconds on this setup, but it does the same job. Now you're gonna notice the smaller mag and the frequency of reloads, but the reload's so fast, it doesn't really prevent you from demolishing content. And I've been using the tactical vector for many seasons now, and I can tell you the words that have never come out of this player's mouth is the tactical vector needs more DPS. But they gave that to us anyways. It's called the Ouroboros, and so I'm pretty happy about that. And you know, it is convenient to have a bigger mag, but that faster reload is really cool. Banditos, so here's the shieldless version I promised earlier in the video. So not much changes at the surface, but you definitely want to change your specialization because that's going to give you 10% protection from elites. And I still have that other protection from elites mod here on the backpack. So together we have 23% protection from elites. That doesn't sound like a lot, but what it's doing there is protecting your bonus armor. It's allowing your bonus armor to absorb more damage. So it's going to last longer. By doing that, you can spend more time shieldless and out of cover. And it's also going to allow Intimidate's uptime to be maximized. Now you can get more mileage out of the build by either adding an additional armor core, which I definitely recommend. So add one more armor core and then you're gonna be that much tankier. You're gonna get 40% bonus armor on kill. And then the protection from elites is going to allow that to last longer. And then you're gonna have the double heals underneath you along with the armor regen to fix you faster if you took any actual damage to your white armor. So I have a fixer drone here, and then I have the Mender Seeker, and this becomes available if you get your survivalist equipped, which we have. Otherwise, if you wanna go shieldless, you could also look at getting rid of Intimidate and instead running Obliterate. And so the benefit of doing that or running Perfect Companion, whatever you choose, it's sort of the same. But Obliterate could be a better option because it's crit based and you got crits anyways. And then you can run this with a Cheska and pick up your crits as well. But by running it this way, you can be more generous with absorbing damage using your bonus armor and not worrying about your offense being taken away from you when your bonus armor gets depleted from damage. Where in the earlier version, I'm using the shield to help the bonus armor last longer by minimizing the damage to the bonus armor. So essentially you can play faster with a no shield version. And I personally use it with Intimidate and didn't have any issues with it, but I'll leave it to you to decide which way is best. So let me know what you think. Have you tried the Ouroboros with something outside of Striker? What are the combinations that you like besides your Striker build? The community wants to know.
Follow me.
I get it.